All right, look, first I got to say, my parents are so skeptical about this. They think I'm joking with them or that something's going on, but this isn't. This is for informational purposes only. We love these two people, their kids, their grandkids, their future grandchildren. So we wanted to make a video so we could just have all of their life experiences on video. All right, so we're going to start off with my father. If you could tell me your name, full name.
Benjamin Pusateri.
Michael Pusateri. Benjamin Michael Pusateri.
Benjamin
And
Michael Pusateri.
what is your date of birth?
October 17th, 1946.
And your parents' name?
Benny Pusateri and Lena Pusateri.
And could you tell me where were you born and kind of like where did you live throughout your life?
I was born in Homewood. Lived there till I was about 12. Then we moved to Wilkinsburg. And I lived there till I was about 16. Then we moved to Penn Hills. And I've been in Penn Hills since.
So this is my mother.
Hi,
If you could please tell us what your name is
Sarah Ann Cober, Pusateri,
and your date of birth
11/2/47.
and what were your parents' name?
My mom's name was Ann, and my dad's name was Ray.
And where were you born? Where did you grow up? Where'd you live?
Born and grew up and lived on 37th Street all my life. When we moved across the street. So that's where I was, 37th Street in Lawrenceville.
And then whenever you got married,
When I got married, we moved here to Penn Hills.
So the first question that I would like to ask you guys is what was your favorite decade and why? So
Okay.
whoever wants to go first can go ahead.
Mine was when I was a teenager in high school.
What decade was that? Was that the 50s?
No, it was the 60s.
The 60s?
In the 60s, yes.
Why?
Well, because I was in a singing group, and we used to sing at all the dances that we had at school, and sometimes we would go to other schools and sing. And not only that, but there was something else I wanted to say. I forget.
Do you remember what your singing group was called?
Yeah, Darlene and the Tobettes.
Was Darlene the leader?
Uh huh.
Are you
Yeah.
still friends with Darlene today?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you guys sing?
Popular songs.
Oh, really? Things that were on the radio.
Uh huh.
Do you remember any?
Yeah. Not off my.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
No.
So, Dad, what was your favorite decade and why?
I don't know. I don't really have a favorite.
Okay.
I mean, it would have probably been in the 70s. Probably.
70s?
Yeah.
Well, what were you doing in the 70s?
Oh, I just got out of the service. Navy.
When did you go to the Navy?
1965 through 1969.
Were you on a ship?
Yes.
Where did you go?
Where did I go?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I'm interested. Where did your ship go?
Well, I was in Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Cuba,
Were you in Europe at all?
in Europe. I was in Spain for 8 months.
Where was that around the time of the Vietnam War? Was that before or after?
That was right during.
During the Vietnam War.
Yes.
Did you see any kind of
No,
fighting or anything?
I was never in the Pacific. I was always in the Atlantic.
And like, what was the primary? What was your ship doing? Like, what were you guys out there doing?
Just
If you weren't in the war.
what was we doing?
Yeah.
Well, we was protecting the eastern side. You know.
In the case that
Yes.
the
anything
fighting
happened.
got out
Right.
to Europe. Okay.
But yeah, I was in Italy. I was in France. I was in Portugal.
Okay. So you were in a lot of places.
Yeah, quite a few.
And when did you get out of the Navy?
1969, October.
Okay. So your favorite decade was right after that.
And plus that,
Plus
I mean,
the
I
late
had a lot of good
60s.
years. A lot of fun times,
Yeah.
you know.
And
That's when I started having kids. Paula was the first.
yeah, she was born in '69.
Right.
Hmm.
And when I heard about it, when she was born, I knew she was coming. But when I heard that she came, I was in the Atlantic on my way back from Spain.
Look at that. So back in those days, they didn't care if you were having a child. You you were away.
Just kidding.
You were away. So okay, awesome. This question is from your granddaughter Marissa, and she wants to know, what is your favorite childhood memory?
Oh, I have a lot.
Childhood.
Yeah. What was your favorite memory as a child? And again, either one of you can go.
Oh, I know what
Yeah.
mine was. I know. Me and my sister Clara, we were on TV singing. They used to have a show. I'm trying to think the name of the show. I can't remember what it was, but it was a talented show. And we were on TV.
What did you do? You remember what you sang on
Oh,
TV?
of course.
What did you
Our
sing?
favorite song was called "Me and My Teddy Bear."
It was just you and your sister.
Uh huh. Yeah. And they used to have a twins and triplets show on TV. And every year when they had the twins and triplets show, we showed up.
So you've done it more than once.
Oh yeah, yeah, we did it a few times.
And you've been on TV more than once
Uh-huh.
with your sister on a
Singing.
twin show.
Yes, singing "Me and My Teddy Bear."
That's awesome. What about you, Dad? What's your favorite memory as a child?
What age as a child?
Whatever. Let's say 12 and under.
My God,
Um,
we used to go to the Barrel
what?
Beach. I wasn't even there.
The
We used to go to Mineral Beach every summer.
Yeah, every summer we used to go. Every Sunday, we would go to a swimming pool called Mineral Beach, and every Sunday we would have to chase Uncle Tom to get into the car because he was always a pain in the ass and didn't want to go. So we had to chase. We would ride around the block like we was leaving, and he would sit on the porch and wait for, and we would come back and get him. That was the funniest time.
That's funny.
I like Uncle Paul.
So that was your favorite childhood memory, you think? I mean, it's a great story, but you know.
Well, I mean, we used to go there every Sunday,
Yeah.
and that was
Grandma used to
memories.
pack
A
basket.
lot of memories. We
Okay.
had to pack a basket,
Yeah.
so there wasn't like one exact thing.
The next question is from your granddaughter Elizabeth. She wants to know, what is the favorite tradition that you had with your family? So,
With
did-
this family, my family here,
I think she meant your
Now?
your pre-family, before your
Yeah.
your
when you
children.
were a kid.
Yeah, like when you were a kid, something that your parents may have done.
well, a tradition. Well, we always ate at home for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And when I was older, we would go visit different houses, me and my brother, Porky. And we would do the same thing every year. Every Christmas, we would be at home,
At home being whose house?
Graham's.
Graham and Pap's.
Mhm.
So just being at home with all your brothers
Right.
and sisters.
Family time.
Okay.
I always liked that,
Okay.
and I still like it.
Okay. Mom, do you have any family traditions?
Probably just one.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to go every year to my dad's picnic. They would have a picnic from his work, and I know, Westview Park. And we would just, Mom would pack up a basket loaded with food, and we would go to Westview Park and spend the whole day there.
That's nice.
Oh, and one other thing we used to do. We used to go to Kennywood on a streetcar. My mother would take us, and she would pack a basket, and we would underneath the Jackrabbit behind there was a picnic area. So we never could buy food. We would always bring it.
And
We didn't have money to buy food, so we would always bring food to eat, and that was a tradition. We would do that every year.
And you were on a train of some sort, or
Streetcar.
what's a streetcar?
Oh my God, you don't know what a streetcar is.
A streetcar is.
We
Wow.
are old.
Like, is it on tracks?
Yes,
Yes.
it's on tracks, and it has this thing on a roof that goes up to a wire that gives its electricity to run. Okay,
How far was the station from your house that took you to
we would
Kennywood?
go
You'd have
from
to walk
like
somewhere.
Warmer Avenue, is where my grandparents lived. From there to Kennywood, a streetcar.
This question is from your grandson, Dominic,
Uh-huh.
and he would like to know what life advice you could give. So, what's your best advice in life?
Just be a good person and be willing to help others and sharing and caring and loving. That's what I give.
Okay.
Yeah,
Dad?
you could just be fair and listen to your parents. They always have some good advice. And just be yourself.
This next question is from your grandson, Joey, and he wants to know, what is your best day of your life? One day, best day.
I know mine.
Good.
It was my first date with their grandpa.
And why was that?
It just did something to me. Not that it is. I mean, it's the best thing I ever did.
Okay.
Just go on that blind date.
Okay, we're gonna get back to that.
Okay.
So, Dad, you can't say the same thing. So, aside from that, Joey wants to know, what is the best day of your life?
Just one day.
That's what he said.
That's pretty hard. I had a lot of best days. That's a hard question because I really don't have
Would you speak?
one day. I mean, had 3 kids, 7 grandkids. That would have been it.
Okay. Go ahead and tell us about. I'm interested in your first date,
Are you
especially since we found out that was my mom's number one day in her life, her first date with my father. So if you could just let us know first tell us how did you first hear about each other?
Aunt Margie called me and asked me if I wanted to go out with her brother-in-law, who was Ben.
Okay. And just for everybody's knowledge, my mother's sister married my father's brother, so they were married prior. How much older? Talk to me. How much older is Aunt Marge
Margie.
than you?
How old was she? She's in her
About 7.
She's
about
Yeah, she's about
7.
7 years older than me.
and Uncle Dom is
He's 8 years older than me.
okay. So they were married.
Yes.
Mhm.
Go ahead, tell me the story.
She
So they were married.
She called me on the phone and she just said, she says, would you like to go out with my brother-in-law? I go, who? And she goes, Benny. She says, he's coming home from the service. She says, you want to go out with him? And I wasn't doing anything, and I go, yeah, sure, I'll go.
Had you met before
No.
in any kind of way?
Mm-mm.
You had any idea what he looked like? Did you see a picture of him?
I'm sure I'd seen a picture of him, But really, no. I just said, yeah, I didn't have anything to do. I said, yeah, I'll go out with them.
And Dad, tell me, how were you made aware of this blind date?
I don't know how I got into it. I don't know how I got wrapped into it.
Well, Margie had to ask you if you wanted to go out.
What would have been? You don't remember if it was Uncle Dom or if it was Aunt Margie that approached you to go out with?
She might have said, "You want to take my sister out?"
You see,
I was home on leave from the Navy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was home on leave.
It was Christmas time.
Yeah, I was on
We went out January 1st, 1967.
1967.
Went out January 1st,
So
1967. Got married October 27th, 1967.
So I came home on leave because I was gone in Spain for
Right.
eight months. So I came home on leave that was New Year's Day.
okay. So the date. Now we're getting to the date. Did he come and pick you up?
I was at Margie's house,
Yeah, I
and he
did.
picked me up at Margie's.
Okay. And where did you go?
We went to the drive-in.
Yeah, we did. He didn't know where to go. He goes, "Where do you
Well-
want to go?" I'm like,
Listen,
And again, we got to realize this is January 1st. This
Yes,
is in the
it's
dead of
cold.
winter.
but you gotta realize that neither one of us was 21, so you couldn't go to any bars
How old were you
or
guys?
nightclubs.
I was 20,
He was probably 19
probably 19.
in '67.
Yeah, I was going to be 20.
So you were 19, Mom.
Mhm.
Dad was 20.
Yeah, so you couldn't go to any bars, and I mean, I didn't have a lot of money. I was in the service, we only got like $100 and some bucks a month, so couldn't wine and dine on that.
Gotcha. Do you remember what you saw?
No.
No, I can't remember the movie. Really, see it truly, I can't.
And
Let me
perhaps
think about it.
perhaps in the future, people won't be aware of what a drive-in is. So just tell us what's a drive-in movie theater.
You stay in your car, and you pull into this place, and they got speakers,
A lot.
and you put out, and you watch this big screen.
Put the
Okay,
speaker in your car,
and you just sat in your car
and you watch the movie.
and you watch the movie. I used to take you guys there a lot,
I remember that.
and then you just make out.
Oh, yeah.
Did you make out on your first date, or is that too much to ask?
Not make out.
Right.
No.
Right.
No way.
I know.
I think it was a kiss.
I
Okay.
wouldn't do that.
I think it was a kiss.
Yes.
But she
No,
wouldn't
but-
let me leave when I took her home.
No, he did. He
Aunt-
did stay at Margie's
Aunt
house.
Margie, Uncle Dom and Aunt Margie's house. She wouldn't let me leave, and I think I stayed there all night.
Gotcha. And since that was your best day, at that point, did you know that you would be with my father for the rest of your life?
No,
You didn't know at that time. You just
no,
thought he was cute.
not yet.
What did you like about him?
He was just a nice guy. You know.
Yeah. And Dad, what
Yeah,
did
the
you?
only thing when we were at the drive-in, he says, it was cold. In January, it's cold. And what's it called? They had intermission. He said, he looked at me and goes, I can't even say it. He goes, "You don't want anything from the concession stand, do ya?"
What a way to ask the question. You
Right.
don't want anything, do you?
First date.
I said, "You don't want anything to eat, do you?"
I said, "No, I don't want
It was
anything.
freezing
That's all
out. I
right."
didn't want to get out of the car to go back to that.
Well, yeah. I mean, was there any other cars there on January
Yeah.
1st? There was
Yeah,
other
there
people
were.
there?
Sure.
They
I
were
can't
going to
bel-
get something.
I just can't believe that the drive-in movie theater was open January 1st simply because it's winter.
Yeah,
You have
well,
heaters in the car,
Okay.
and also you could even rent a heater and plug it into your cigarette lighter.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I starved all night. Not even a drink.
And Dad,
She survived.
Dad, other than not
I
wanting
just
to
think
be
it's
out in
funny.
the cold, what was your impression of Mom? I mean, I've seen pictures of her when she was younger.
I
so.
liked her. I liked her. You know.
Yeah, he did.
This next question is from your granddaughter, Teresa.
Teresa.
And Teresa wants to know, what are you most proud of?
Oh, I know that there's no problem at all. I'm proud of all my kids.
Aside
What
from,
else would I be proud of?
I had a feeling you were going to answer that way. So let's say aside from your kids,
Aside from
yes.
the kids.
Is there
I'm
anything?
proud of, yes, I'm proud of everything that your dad has, how do I put it? Everything that he has given me in all these years. You know, I mean, we were young. A couple of years we were married, we had a new house. You know, I mean, that's a big, big thing to me.
So you were proud that you owned your own house. You were probably, what, 20 years old?
Definitely.
Right? 20?
No, what you call it? No,
21.
it was right after we had Paula.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
21.
Right, but still, it's very young.
Yeah,
You owned your own house.
right. We were fortunate enough that we got our brand new house. Nobody else ever lived in this house. You know, it was a newly built home.
This was our beginner home.
Yes.
It's probably going to be my end home.
Yes, it is. It sure is.
They're referring to the house that we're in right now, doing this interview. They've lived here since 1971, and right now it is 2023. So, Dad, is there something that you're proud of aside of your family and your first home? Anything you've done in life?
I'm proud to been in the service. And, you know, everything I'd done, I think I did pretty good. Raising guys. That's about it.
All right, this next question is from your daughter, Paula. And she wants to know, put on your thinking cap, she wants to know, what is your earliest memory in life? Thinking back, what is the earliest memory you have in life?
Earliest memory in life. That would be going back to as far as you can remember.
Right, your first memory that you think that you
I
can
would
still
think,
see.
for me,
Yeah.
I
For you?
would think it would be Christmas when I was a little girl.
How old do you think you were?
Oh, God. Probably maybe around 7 or 8. Which got my dad every year for Christmas. He would, well, first of all, Thanksgiving, day after Thanksgiving, my father would block off our living room, period. Nobody could get in that living room until Christmas morning. And from then until Christmas, he would work on a platform. In fact, he had 3 platforms that he put in our living room. And he made one huge village out of this platform, and the Christmas tree was in the middle of it. So Christmas morning, he would open that up, and we would see what he did all the time that he worked on this Christmas platform.
So you weren't allowed to see any of the progress?
No,
And he worked on it for almost a month.
Yeah, well, he worked in a steel mill, so you know, in between his hours, because he always worked. I think he always worked like 7 to 3 shift. So you know, he'd come home, and after dinner, he would start working on this. And what you call it? You know, he worked on it from Thanksgiving until Christmas.
Wow, that had to be really incredible to see that as a kid.
It was. I mean, it was really. I mean,
Did-
he had this whole village made up. You name it, he had it. It was, you know, like a town. And he had, you know, everything. He had the banks, the churches, the people's houses, and kids. You know, had little things of people. Oh, I mean, it looked like a city.
Wow. Did you ever try and peek?
Nah. No, because we got caught, we got yelled at. No, he would just work on it, and like I said, after
Wow.
that,
You don't have a picture of any of that?
you know what? I do have a picture of it. I do. I have one downstairs.
Yeah, I'll have to see that sometime.
Hmm.
So, Dad, what was your earliest memory? Mom can go back to like 8 or 9.
My memory was my dad used to pick me up in front of the house in Homewood, and I would go on trips with him because he drove a truck, and he'd always call and tell my mother that he was going to pick me up. So I wouldn't go to school that day, and he would pick me up, and we would just I would go on the road with him.
Around how old do you think you were?
Well, probably maybe started doing it probably when I was about 10 or 11. And we would go into, like we would go to, not far trips, like we would deliver produce to like Kroger's and stuff like that. But the craziest thing was we would deliver in the back, and we would go inside, and we would get, bread and lunch meat and chocolate milk and stuff like that for lunch, and we would just walk out the back. Well, I thought that was just normal stuff. I didn't know we wasn't allowed to do that.
Oh, you're telling me you were stealing from the stores?
That sounds like Pap.
So you would just go help yourself to whatever was at the grocery
And then go back
store,
out the back door
and then just walk out the back door.
and get in the truck.
Because when you first started telling the story, I was under the impression that like the store gave it to you, but no, you guys.
I
just,
don't think they did.
you helped
I was
yourself.
young.
You helped yourself to whatever it is.
I don't know if that was okay to do or not.
Gotcha.
No, Pap, it
You know,
probably
I don't.
wasn't.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. We
Yes.
didn't. If they said, "Hey, help yourself,"
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody probably did that to them.
Well, while we're talking about that, I just want to throw in a story that I think's really funny. I remember hearing a story of when Aunt Barb, or perhaps her husband, Uncle Mike, worked at the store, or somebody would get on a cash register, and they would make.
Uncle Mike.
Can you tell us the story about that? I mean, these were different times, I mean, the small time theft wasn't like this.
I don't know if we
Yeah.
should talk about that.
Nowadays, but that is a good story. So like,
But
just
yeah, that's not.
what?
It's a good story, but not. We shouldn't talk about.
Yeah,
that.
we should talk about it. I mean, listen, the funniest thing that I remember from the stories was Uncle Mike, I guess, would get on the cash register. They would call, and Pap would go up to the store so he could run all his shit through, and maybe pay $1 for $50 worth of goods. So I thought that was hilarious. And then the other thing that I thought was really good, my Pap was he was a genius in his own way. And I remember him telling a story about there were some mirrors that he wanted to buy, and what he did was he took the mirrors to the guard at the front of the store that was standing there, and he said, "Hey, can you hang on to these while I go through the line?" And then he would go through the line and then just grab the mirrors or whatever from the security guard on his way out. So, good times.
Pap was crazy.
All right, this is a question. This is probably a collaborative question between among myself and my sisters. When we were kids, you and Dad, you went on vacation and you left us at Uncle Bill and Aunt Madge's house. Okay?
Yeah, we did. I remember.
Apparently, for my sisters, it was a traumatic experience. Pam claims that she cried the whole time.
Because we left her.
So there's a couple of questions. Number one, do you remember where you went?
Oh, no.
You don't
Not so
remember?
far. No.
Do you remember?
Probably not too far away.
Well, it depends on how old they were. We might have went to Florida. I mean, we went to Florida once with Ians. Like every other year, we would go away by ourselves. that if we could afford it, we would do that. Every other year we would go away with us, and every other year we would take Yins. Okay, so I mean, we could have went to Florida. We could have went to on a cruise. We could have went to Vegas.
Yeah, those are really
You know,
the
I mean,
three places that
There's
we've
quite a
been
few
to.
places we've been.
So do you remember taking us to Uncle Bill and Aunt Madge's?
I
I don't remember you going to Uncle
I
Bill and
don't-
Madge's.
Oh, okay.
I must have been like, you guys
Because one
are
of the
really
questions,
little.
then another follow-up question of it was, because we were so close as kids, me and my sisters, to Dad's side of the family, I think that's kind of what led it to be a strange experience
Yeah.
or not so positive experience. For my sisters, my recollection isn't as bad as theirs.
You know what?
And their recollection actually is that I had a good time. And them
They
two were
did.
miserable. And all Pam did was cry, and Paula had to take her for walks around the block to calm her down. So the question was, since you have so many brothers and sisters, Dad, and we were closer to your side of the family, they were wondering, but I don't think that you'll know, was Uncle Bill and Aunt Madge a plan B? Did the original plan fall through? Like maybe you were going to have us go with
I don't
Uncle
think so.
Dom or
I
Uncle
don't even
Ron?
remember that really.
maybe they might have just volunteered to take Yins. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because I mean, we did bowl together. We did hang out together with them on a lot of occasions, and they might have just volunteered
Yeah, they could
to
have.
watch Yins. You know what I mean?
Without, yeah, sure.
They might have just said, "Yeah, bring the kids over. We'll take care of them. Yins go away." You know what I mean? It could have been like that because I don't think that. Because I mean, one time we left. Where did we leave? Pam. We left Pam when she was young. We left her with.
Who?
What's her name? Sister. We met her on the turnpike, and we dropped Pam off on a turnpike, and her sister, Jeannie's sister, met us there and took Pam, and I think we took Yins too with us.
Judy
and Paul.
Gala.
Yes, and I think we took Yins too,
I don't-
you and
don't
Paula
remember
with
that
us.
either.
And Pam, and they made her sleep in a drawer. She was a baby.
Well, that was just funny because that was brought up. It was brought up that we were talking about our memories, and my sisters, Pam, had mentioned
But she wouldn't remember
you guys leaving us. She said us. She seemed to think it was us, all
No,
three of us,
no.
at some turnpike exit with a stranger so you
She
could
wasn't
go
a
away.
stranger.
That's the story that I'm
Oh,
hearing.
like I would really leave my
I don't
kids
even
with a
know this
stranger.
story. I told her I couldn't wait to talk to you about it.
I think we took you and Paula with us and left Pam because she was a baby.
She left Pam with a stranger.
No, she wasn't a
on the
stranger.
turnpike.
She wasn't a
She wasn't
stranger.
a
Judy's
stranger.
sister.
It was Jeannie's sister. We knew them. In fact, we took Yins over to their house when Yins were small. Yins wouldn't remember. In fact, I think they had a swimming pool and we
Okay.
knew
If
the
we left
people.
the
But it was just funny because we dropped her off on a turnpike, and then she took her out because she slept in a drawer.
Well, she lived out there. We were going that way.
We was
We
going that
dropped her
way,
off.
so I'm thinking that we probably went to like Conneaut or something
Yeah,
like that.
something like that.
Because I think we just took the two Yins because she was too small.
Okay. And last thing along these lines is Pam wanted to know, do you remember what a pain she was as a child, you leaving her with somebody?
Yes.
She says she just remembers.
Cried every time we left her.
One time she stuck a stone in her ear.
Yeah, she did. Yep.
And then when we got back, because we left her with a babysitter,
Uh-huh.
and here she stuck a little, because we had a stone driveway. She was playing out there, and for some reason she stuck a stone in her ear. Well, I tried to get it out and couldn't. So then we had to wind up taking her to the freaking hospital because I think I pushed it in further. and then they sucked it out with some kind of vacuum or something. Took it out to Children's Hospital.
But you do remember.
Yeah, she was a pain in the ass.
I didn't say that either.
You didn't mind it, Mom.
What?
It wasn't hard for you.
To leave her?
Yeah.
No.
Well, she,
Well, you know, when you're a mom and a dad and you're with the kids all the time, you know, you need to go somewhere. So you need to get somebody to watch them.
and Paula,
I didn't mind
every-
leaving my
every
kids.
time
to
we
go.
took Paula
Not like it
somewhere-
wasn't coming back.
and every time we took Paula somewhere, if we had to go through the Squirrel Hill tunnels, she would cry and scream from the time we went into the tunnel
Yes,
till
she
the time
did.
we got out. So we never wanted to go anywhere on that side of the tunnels.
We couldn't
But we
go on the
had
other
to.
side of Pittsburgh.
We had to go through the tunnels certain times, and she would just scream and cry every time. And she would also cry a lot when we would leave her down Grimm's.
Yeah.
And
She never
and we
understood
lived
Grimm's.
down there.
Wow, I'm
For a
surprised
while.
to hear that.
Paula cried too a lot
Okay.
when she was small.
And
You
while,
never cried. You
while,
didn't care.
while we're talking about crying, you know, because everyone needs to know this story. Is there ever a time where I would cry every year?
No,
Never.
you was alright. We
No, you
could
were
dump you
fine.
anywhere.
How was your experience taking me to Kennywood?
Oh yes, Except for
God,
that.
He was a pain.
you was a pain in the ass at Kennywood because you had to win your own toy.
Yeah.
You had to
right.
throw the balls
You're right, honey.
and win your own toy. I said, I'll win you one. No, I want to win it myself. I hated
You
leaving
spent a
Kennywood
fortune.
every year. we
Because
couldn't leave unless you,
if you didn't have a prize.
and you wouldn't take the prize that I won for you. I said, I'll win it. And you wouldn't
Oh
take
my
it.
God.
You just said, no, I want to win it myself. All right. And you know, I mean, money was rough back then.
Not in Kennywood.
We're just paying. I loved taking these guys to Kennywood. I hated leaving Kennywood because you had to walk through that section where all the games were to get out of the park.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that. I mean, I remember that, and I can see it clear as day. And I give you guys so much credit for allowing me to go every year, because if I was the parent, I don't know that I would put myself through that.
We
Like,
had to take the other kids. We
I
couldn't just
give
take
you a
the
lot of credit. You guys were very patient with me. I guess that's the only time that I cried then, so that's good to know.
No, you were a good little boy.
Just couldn't ride a bike.
This next question is from your grandson, Michael. This is for Pap, for Dad. Michael would like to know, what is your favorite story from the Navy?
Oh wow!
Time you had a good time or things got out of control? We want to hear a good Navy story.
Oh, that's rough. There's a lot of stories. I mean, 4 years, there's a lot of stories. But how much I could remember, I don't know. My,
How about my phone call?
No. That's a good story, but I don't think that's what Michael's looking for.
no,
He wants a good story. Her phone call, which he called the ship looking for you. So, hey, while he's thinking, go ahead quickly. Mom, go ahead. You tell the story. You know the story.
I don't know how I found the phone number, but I did. I found the phone number and called the ship because I hadn't heard from him for a while. And I'm like, you know, what the hell's going on? So I called.
What year was this?
Oh, it had to be 67.
no, it was late because I was on a Tringa. So it was the last year that I was in. 69. 60,
Yes, I don't know when it was.
Right, so it
I
was
think
like
69.
Yeah, I'd say the year of 69. That's
right, way before technology, way before it was so
no,
easy.
we never had.
Yeah, to have
We
somebody
had never
call.
had cell phones or nothing like
Right.
that.
Yeah,
So
no.
the fact that that my mother could track down
I don't know how I did it,
a
honest. I
phone
did.
number.
But I did. I got
For
them
my ship.
somehow.
They
I got
came
a
right
phone
to my
number of the ship. They gave me the phone number. I called somebody. I told them where my husband, ship my husband was on, and I had to get in touch with him because I haven't heard from him, and I was worried about him. And so I called the ship. Somebody answered, and I said, "Can I talk to Ben Terry?"
And what did they say?
Yeah, they found him. They put
said,
him on
"Hold
the
on."
phone.
And
Wow.
they
He
called
picked
me.
up the phone.
Do you
and goes,
remember that? Dad?
Yeah, I remember it.
Do you remember what was you thinking? I mean, you had
I
to
was
be.
thinking, who the hell's calling me on the ship in New London, Connecticut? Then
And
she
it was
started
me.
yelling at me.
Like, where you been? He didn't write me, nothing. You know, so I was worried about him.
There
I thought
wasn't
maybe
no cell
something
phones.
happened.
You had to write letters.
Right.
You couldn't text. It's not as easy as
So
it is
so why
today.
were you missing in action? Why weren't you
He just didn't
writing?
feel like writing, I guess.
I didn't.
What was your explanation to the phone call? She
I
calls
didn't-
and yells at you.
I told her I was busy.
Yeah, I was busy.
You know.
But I did. I hunted him down.
All right, so
And she also
What else did I do?
got word to me that in the middle of the Atlantic, that Paula was born.
Oh, yeah, well, I made sure.
yeah, by then she had a connection.
Yeah, I was in the
That was
hospital.
a
She was best
telegram.
friends.
I was in a hospital.
That was a
and
telegram.
I
A
don't
telegram.
know how it happened, but somehow it got around the hospital that my husband died. You know, and somebody came and told me, I go, what are you talking about? I says, my husband's in the service. I said, that's why he's not here. You know, so everybody's wondering, like, they noticed that, you know, your husband hasn't been here. Nobody's been here, you know, that would be the baby's dad. I says, well, that's why. I says, he's away in the service. You know, so I mean, there was all kind of stories going around the hospital.
Well, who took you to?
Oh God,
Who
and
took-
Joe and Grandma.
Who took you to the hospital if your husband wasn't there for the birth of Paula?
No, Grandma and Aunt Joe took me,
All the
and
ladies.
I mean, we were,
The whole card club
yeah,
took
we were in
you.
the middle of playing cards.
The whole card club took you.
Yeah, right. Yes, Aunt Joe,
Aunt
Grandma, Aunt B, and my Aunt Margie.
So you
They all
showed
went
up to the
there.
hospital.
All of them took me to the hospital, and they were looking for the dad. I said, "Well, the dad ain't here. He's overseas somewhere. He's not here."
And at that time, this is probably gonna freak a lot of people out, but you were allowed to smoke, right?
Oh yeah.
Talk to
yeah.
us about that.
Yeah, I smoked in the labor room.
While you were delivering your child.
No. Well, I
Well, she
wasn't.
was waiting to.
I was
Right.
waiting. Yeah.
Right, you were in labor, you're in active
Yeah.
labor,
Uh-huh.
in a hotel or in a
In
hospital,
the hospital, yeah. Columbia Hospital.
smoking cigarettes.
Yes. Yes, it was no big deal. You were allowed to do that. That was
So-
the thing to do.
What was the question?
So the question was, the original question was, Michael wanted to know, you know, your favorite, craziest, fun
Oh, okay.
story
Here's one.
from the Navy.
When we went to Portugal, a bunch of us wanted to, you know, we had Liberty. That was you was allowed off the ship if you had Liberty, and we decided to go skiing after we drank a bunch of wine. So we went skiing in the Alps, and I never skied, and I mean, we had a lot of wine in us, so we didn't care, you know.
Care
I
if they
skied
fell or
down-
not.
We skied down the face, and that didn't go too good. And then we decided it'll be slower if we go through the path, sort of like through woods with trees and stuff like that. But you had a turn, or you was going to run into a tree. So every time I seen a tree I was headed for, I couldn't turn. I would just fall over. And every time I fall over, my skis would come off. Then I have to put my skis on, get back up, and do it. So and then they had their ski lift was a rope. You ever see them things you swing on I forget what, a paddle like? You put between your legs,
Right.
and it would pull you up. You had to be on your skis. It wasn't no thing you sit on, and it pulled you up the hill. Some guys got dragged up. They couldn't stand on their skis. I mean, we drank a lot of wine that day. And then, so we was done. And this was the disgusting part. On our way back, this one kid, the ship I was on was very small, the last ship I was on. So we knew everybody. And he decided to throw up all over me.
Oh, God. God, that's so disgusting.
All over my navy blues. He threw up. I could have smacked the shit out of him. And I had to sit there until the bus got back to the ship. So then when I got on the ship, I just walked into the shower with my clothes on and washed my clothes and everything. That was probably my craziest time. You didn't know I was a skier, Mike.
Another question. This was from Michael, your grandson, and this is for Graham. And everyone needs to know, Graham does not swear.
Oh, no, I
So
don't.
Michael would like you to tell the story of how your friends got you to say the F word
Okay.
for the one and only time in your life. So I believe there's an F word out there.
Yeah, it's out there. I
When you was in a car and had you in the back seat, they put the heater on.
Oh, yeah, they did. They did.
Wait.
They almost killed me. Just because they wanted me to say the F word. And I wouldn't do it. But then I had to do it because the car was so hot. I was ready to pass out. So I said the F word.
Who were you with?
Who was I
Dee
with?
and Audrey.
Dee and Audrey. Who else?
Her friends. Her best friends.
My best friends, Dee and Audrey. They will make you say it. I go, no, you won't. This is just we
They
will.
got the car so hot
That's
inside, they
it.
wouldn't open the windows. And she was sitting in the back.
Mhm.
Yeah. So my mother has only said the F word one time in her entire life when she was being tortured from her friends.
By
I
my
only said
best
it
friends.
once.
Yeah. And
Oh, yeah,
Pep almost
right.
never says it either.
Sure.
Which is a lie. So Michael, his request is
Say it.
he
No!
wants you to say it for the second
No,
time.
I won't.
He says,
No.
please.
I don't
It's
care.
just one
I don't
word,
care what. No.
4 letters, starts with an F.
Nope. You will
Just
not get
one
me
more
on
time.
tape saying that word. Nope.
He begs. He said, please. He says this video means nothing
No.
unless we get Graham just to say it one
Mike,
time.
I'm so sorry, but I cannot do that.
You could say it one time.
No.
It's easy.
No, it's a bad word. No.
I tried, Mike.
I'll say it
I
for her.
can't do it.
Pap,
Fuck.
see? No problem.
It's not nice. I don't like you to say it either.
And our last question is from your daughter, Pam. And she wants to know what you each love about each other.
Too many things.
I had a feeling you weren't going to have a problem answering this, Mom.
I don't have any trouble answering it.
What do you
Everything.
love
I
most?
love everything about him.
What do you love?
Everything.
Well, there has to be details.
Let me details.
Yeah.
I don't know details. You know, I mean, he makes me happy. And happiness means an awful lot,
Okay.
you know. And what you call it? He's a helper. And he's easy to get along with. You know, I mean, we just blend together. You know, I don't have any problem with him. He don't have any problem with me. And that's good.
Dad?
What I love about her.
Yeah, what do you love about your wife?
Oh, well, I love that she takes very good care of me.
I do.
I know she does.
Cooks. Keeps a clean house. You know? I mean, she's perfect.
Oh, thanks, hon.
So I just wanted to give either one of you an opportunity to say whatever you want. This is a message that's going to go out to your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren and maybe your great-great-grandchildren.
Oh, dear Lord.
So is there any final words?
Yeah, my final words are I'm so happy with my family. So happy. You know, it's wonderful that all you guys like to just come and see us and be with us, and we love being with you too. And that's all I want out of life. I want everybody to be happy and be good to each other. And you all know, me and Pap, we love you dearly, and you're always, always welcome to come anytime you want. So that's just what I want for everybody. I just want everyone to be happy and to get along. If you do have a problem, then you just talk it out. But I know, I'm so excited that my family has turned out the way it has. I like the closeness. I like everybody, being together and having fun with each other. And to me, that's what life's all about. Love your brothers and sisters. And that me and Pap love you all dearly. That's it.